Welcome to the latest edition of the Stacked Supplement Podcast, and it is a very, very special edition as I'm not in my usual place. I'm at the home of Mutant PVL, and I have with me Jim McMahon, the founder, the owner, the man behind it all, and Big Ron, the voice of Mutant, I should say.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, Shane, welcome.
So it's a
welcome to the West Coast.
It's a mutant takeover, I guess, is what we're going to call it.
We can say that.
Yeah, mutant takeover.
Friendly takeover.
Yeah.
I'm not going to try to.
It was originally going to be our show, but you just happened to show up to take over.
Pretty sure 5 minutes ago the discussion was the other way around, but that's fine.
All right, all good.
So I figured the first thing we would talk about was just chronologically, and obviously you can't talk about the Reawakening. I was going to say it, but
He got that.
Reawakening. Because you debuted it at this year's Arnold Sports Festival, of course.
Yeah.
So how was the reception? Like, I wasn't really around when the crowds were going wild later in the day, but like, was it quite well received? Was it, because it's obviously the first time people got to see it? How did that all experience play out for you guys?
Well, I think people were blown away with the look, obviously, of the Reawaken label. I mean, Mutant's always been hardcore, but it got a little sleepy for a couple of years label-wise and maybe bad attitude-wise. And that little skirmish around the planet called COVID finally ended. And we said, okay, screw this. Let's get back to our roots. And so I think everybody was just jonesing to see something new. And we were happy. And so the very first label, which, Shane, how do you want to pronounce that product again?
Mind Freak.
Oh, come on. Ron, are we going to tell
Mind
him?
Freak.
Oh, my Lord.
Well, we say mindfuck on our podcast.
Yeah.
I know. Are you hoping YouTube doesn't like?
No, for
Hit
me
you
it's
with-
just, so whenever we share stories on the website, and sometimes we put them out on social media, we get like flagged pretty hard sometimes.
Yeah.
Just
Right.
if I write the word out, and I didn't think not much of it. I would have said mindfuck.
I say it real fast. It's sort of like
That helps.
You know, get past the
But
box.
when you write it,
Yeah.
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 so I think I use the F, sometimes with the star and the hashtag K.
Yeah.
As long as you get the first letter and the last letter right, it's pretty good.
So this is my.
We don't care what anybody
This is
calls
my favorite of all the new labels because of the third eye thing, you know? So I just think that that's such a cool label. I don't know, do I point that at a camera? I don't even know what I'm doing. So I just love that this label has the third eye sort of thing going on. And I like that stuff, you know?
Well, it says what it does.
Yeah.
It does.
Do you listen to Tool?
I do.
Yeah. So if you listen to Tool, you kind of get the third eye reference and
Yeah.
like all that stuff, right? And I'm a huge Tool fan. So when I saw this, I was like, I get down with that label.
Yeah.
So I really like this one. And I thought the Arnold went great. I mean, our booth was crazy and the hotel was plastered and everything was wrapped and, you know, all the posts in the restaurant. And
It was
you know,
fun.
The whole place was the big wall. And wasn't Clarita on the wall? Wasn't
Yeah,
that
yeah,
the-
yeah. You had to walk through Sean Clarita
Yeah, big.
posters to
they
get
had
into the
50
hall.
foot Clarita above the door, you know, like it was just, it was cool. It was
Because
great
Clarita
to see.
normally walks around being 50 feet tall anyways.
50 feet wide.
50 feet, well, he's
Yeah,
wide,
yeah.
but he's no question about
So yeah, I mean, I don't know. My point of view just coming from, you know, I've been with Mutant a long time, since 2011, so I watched the brand like grow a lot and go through a lot of changes, and I just felt like it was really great to see, like, you know, just being a part of the Arnold team at that level and
Yeah.
having the Arnold guys come by the booth and, you know, they know us by name now and they see, you know, Brian Powers comes by and
Yeah.
says hi and that sort of stuff. And then when we go to the Olympia and, you know, we're seeing those guys and they're coming by and saying hi and, you know, like everything like that was just really cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's always been about the brotherhood and sisterhood of the iron. I mean, I owe everything I've done in life to being a gym rat. And
Yeah.
so you never forget where you come from. That's the whole thing about all of us, I think. And that's why we just keep doing this. I mean, I've been in the game over 30 years myself.
We literally saw the poster, the news article outside when I was waiting out there.
Oh, the 1990
This
whatever.
is 2003.
Or 2003, okay.
You looked smashing, and I don't use that word commonly, but like
That's a great word.
because
Smashing.
it was only fitting because you had a turtleneck on. And
Not everybody can rock a turtle.
I gotta re-look at this.
look at that picture.
I gotta
He
re-look
has
at
the
this
turtleneck,
image.
and it's I don't remember the color was.
Does he have a chain outside the turtleneck?
No, definitely not.
But
No.
he
That,
had
like, finishes
he had
the
the
Yeah,
sleeves.
it's not the dick in the box video.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, there you go.
The sleeves
Yeah,
were
yeah,
coming
yeah.
out of the suit jacket, and I was like, this is very.
Now, we used to take things way more serious
And
around here.
You looked really serious
No,
because you were
no.
in front of a computer and you had your arms on the desk.
I take it one step farther. I tell people that he started the business in his garage bagging the protein himself.
Oh yeah.
I have heard that story from others about
that's
someone.
how-
We had Health Canada come one time at the old warehouse, which is right by your gym
Yeah.
these days, Ron. And at Health Canada, I love when they show up at like 3:30 on a Friday afternoon. That's my favorite. Oh, what do you guys want now? Kind of thing. And they actually had a scale. I'm not kidding. Looked like a Friday 10:30 p.m. drug deal going down the scale they brought, but that's besides the point. And they said, what are you guys here? Oh, we're here to test weigh some of your products. I didn't go test weigh? Yeah, we want to make sure you're filling.
You can do that in a store, though, couldn't you?
No, but they did 300 test weighs on this very official meter that prints out a receipt. And
That's actually very cool.
And they said, so the inspector, after like 300 bottles, it was like 5:30 on a Friday night, and they're packing up, they're heading out. And he goes, this is probably the most accurate fill weights we've ever seen.
Really? That's funny.
And it wasn't because they were all machine filled. I mean, under the arm in a lab coat, 4:30 in the morning doing this with a scoop.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you,
Scale.
I did a lot of bodybuilding shows, and I tell you, my rice was to the gram. I was pulling grains out, putting them back in. You know, if I had, you know what I mean. So
Were you one of those guys taking your vitamin E soft gel out of the vitamin pack in the 90s because there was fat?
no.
I knew guys like that in the 80s and 90s.
But I was like to the gram, so I could see, oh, you could be like that filling your stuff.
Does that
But
mean you scraped the rice? Like if there was like a few grains left, you would scrape what was remaining, like piece by piece?
Oh, there was never a
Nothing
grain
left.
left
Okay.
uneaten. Yeah.
That's about right.
Well, you know, carbs get pretty low on those days. Those are the old days when the carbs were super low.
Oh
so.
my Lord. And you're still big on the rice.
Yeah.
The rice never leaves.
No. But that's one of the things I tell people about, like, about the brand is we make our own stuff, which a lot of people don't know.
Yeah.
Like they don't understand what that means to manufacture your own stuff, like being in control of it from the very, very beginning of the empty container and the raw product and the formulation of the flavors and all that stuff. So we make our own stuff. And then I know that, like, you know, we're Canadian, and it's funny because I've had certain Americans who understand that means that we actually have more stringent
Yeah.
rules.
It's harder.
Yeah, we have more stringent guidelines and more stringent label rules. And I mean,
Oh,
Jim
yeah.
knows way more about like the technicalities of that stuff. I don't really know that stuff.
Trust me, I don't want to know.
But yeah, but he knows like the details of that. But they're stricter than most other places. So,
Yeah.
so that's one thing that I think we have, which is an advantage, is that, you know, we have control of the product from the very beginning of the manufacturing, and then we're held to a higher standard than a lot of other people. So,
Well, I mean, there aren't many big brands. I mean, that I think you could probably count on one hand the amount that are on your size that make their own stuff. Like there are not.
There's not a lot. I mean, there's Glambia, which is Optimum, of course. And,
My Protein's probably another one, but like
Animal Brand.
yeah. But that's what I'm saying. There are not many, and then you have to understand the complexity behind.
Yeah.
And like I said, when I went through the facility, you guys did a damn good job on just how efficient and compact, and then also the technology side that you guys have in there.
did you see the robots?
I did. It was
The robots are cool.
And I got to point out about the robots. We're not trying to change the world into robots.
No.
What we did was the staff. A lot of the staff didn't want to keep doing this one really repetitive job. And
Isn't it the pallet robot?
it was
Is
the
that
pallet
what-
robot.
Yeah.
So it was hard to get people in here to do that one job. And it was actually the staff that came up with the idea. And then the bosses in that part of the company, they said, hey, Jim, we got an idea. And I'm like, okay, well, let's go through the math of it. And you see the price of this thing.
told me.
That should have given you a heart
He
attack.
told me how much it was.
Let's not repeat it.
I
It's
wasn't-
crazy. But again, we're pretty calm when it comes to these kind of things. And I just looked at it and said, well, okay, how long will this take us to pay off the machine then, in terms of we're saving, not money, we're saving not having production because people just didn't want that job. Well, the staff are happier. They all make now more per hour because this robot came in and helped us put more product out the door per shift. So it wasn't about replacing humans. It was actually about getting the staff.
Freeing them up to do other things.
And because now we pump out more bottles per shift, everybody got a raise back there too. So they're happy to have a robot. We don't want to have 100 robots starting to take away 100 production jobs.
Is it like a Tesla? Does it do like dances?
It can.
Ours doesn't need a fucking update like a freaking Tesla.
It probably could do it, but I was watching it because I'd seen something similar, but not that big.
Yeah.
That was impressive, the speed.
Well, that one robot handles all 3 of the packaging lines, and it does it all at once.
We saw it was operating 2 of them. I think the 2 on the left, and it was switching between them, and it was able to, figure out where it was grabbing, where it was placing, and then the pattern that it would go on the pallet was pretty. But then, like you said, over time, and then obviously it makes the whole job much more efficient. Was Mindfuck always intended to be?
Hey, good job. You said Mindfuck.
I committed. We already did it.
I
committed.
Was Mindfree always intended to be?
Saying it twice just seems.
Yeah, no, that's just wrong now.
Yeah. Here you go for it.
Was that always intended to be the first one in the Reawakening? Or because obviously you had your other ones that you started rolling out the shelves. Now you got the ISO Surge, Korea Kong, and the Amino, but because it feels like that one seemed like it might have been put on the fast track to make sure it was the lead product, because it's not often you launch new things, especially lining it up with the debut of the Reawakening.
Listen, you can have the best plans ever, and it might not always go the way you want. And we've watched these 2 fairly major other brands. You might have heard of them. One's kind of Optimum Nutrition, I think, and the other one's Dymatize.
I think I've heard of them.
I think I've heard of them. Yeah. No, they're stalwart, heavy, hardcore brands, and everybody in the industry back in the day watched them and go through their rebranding. And it's an arduous process. You got 300 labels here to do, and it doesn't always go like this.
Yeah.
And so we were like, oh, okay, this is going to take a while. This could take a year. And even then, that's faster than what it took some other brands as well. So Mindfuck was always designed to be the first one. It was also to coincide with the fact we wanted to reawaken the attitude here anyways. So we knew we wanted to do that. I didn't want to bring out any new products in what is now known as the old label as of this airing. So we wanted this Mindfuck product to come out anyways. I'm like, well, I'm not going to put it in what is now known as the old label. That just didn't make any sense to me. You can teach all you kids a new word, by the way. It's refuculous. That would have been a refuculous decision to put Mindfuck in the old label.
What would the old label even have been, right? It wouldn't have made sense. So
it would have been Ron and Dusty doing the smile like Larry and
Lenny. Yeah. But it also timed out well with everything at the Arnold, right?
Yeah.
Timed out it with
like I said, it did.
U.S. launch.
It
and
all
everything,
kind of came together.
And it worked.
Spectacularly, kind of.
People are talking about it.
Yeah.
And it worked. I mean, from a business standpoint, it worked, but also from us standing up for what we believe in, meaning that the brotherhood and the sisterhood of the iron and the camaraderie is all real. And we don't care what level of bodybuilding or athletics you're at. We don't give a shit what you do as long as you get off your ass and do it. And that's really the attitude. And so Mindfuck was born out of the fact that Dusty doesn't like a lot of caffeine. I always remember that. And we wanted to make a caffeine-free pre-workout as well. And then, of course, the Paraxanthin was its own story. And the Paraxanthin was the new hot thing on the market. Yeah. I still think it is. I like when I talk with some of our other friends that are into the ingredient, it's a misunderstood ingredient. People still kind of go, well, where's the caffeine? I go, listen, guys, you don't need to be all whacked out on crack to go have a great workout. It's always been mind over matter.
I do enjoy that, though.
It's enjoyable to be cracked up. But Ron and Tom Platts always know there's always 5 more reps, and it ain't the caffeine that gets you the frickin' 5 more reps. It's the focus. It's really always the focus. If you can focus that mind, the body will go where the mind focuses.
There's plenty of, and this is not me well, it is me pumping the product, I guess. But it's
But
not.
you own a gym, and
but-
you carry a lot of brands.
Yeah, but it's I mean, I've been around a long time, and I used all the heavy stims back in the day and all that stuff. And I never liked a crazy stim. I just liked a nice, smooth, like mid-level stim. And this, what I like about it is it comes on subtly, like you don't feel it hit. You're just having a great workout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, this session's about a great workout.
Yeah.
And then I've had bad crashes off of stronger stim stuff. Like I remember falling asleep in my car after my workout in the old days after like a big hit of like, 1 MR or something like that, right?
Yeah. Oh,
The old diet.
I used to hate those.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
That
Something
feeling
like
was
that.
just terrible, man.
That's so good.
And I find this, I wind up going home and like having a great, I don't go home and I'm not like tired. I go home and have a great night. I can watch a movie and I can like work and I can
Yeah.
like, it just, I really like the product because
Yeah.
it comes on smooth and it leaves smooth and I sleep well and it just works really great for me. And I train at 5:30 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to bed at 11, you know what I mean? Which is a lot of people. Like think of all the people that train after work and go to bed at a normal time. And a lot
You
of them,
shock me sometimes at 10:30. I'll get a text from Ron like
Yeah.
I'm already in bed.
well, I sit till 1 sometimes, but
Okay.
but there's just a lot of people that are in that category
Yeah.
that don't want
Yeah.
to be overly stimmed out of their minds. And a lot
Well,
of times
there's
sleeping.
enough stim out there, and at the same,
You know,
we've got high stim
works
product. Yeah, we got high stim products anyways. But at the
Yeah.
same time, I'm like, I mean, it's frustrating. Like when I talk with you, Ron, about your personal training and what are some of the more frustrating things? Is you give people good advice, and then sometimes they don't use the good advice.
Yeah.
And
and
it's
you
just-
lead a thing to water.
Yeah, and it's the same thing here with us, selling products. People ask us, well, what's the protein I should use? I go, I don't know. What's the gap in your diet? Like, are you not eating, 5, 6, or 7 smaller meals a day? And as soon as you say that, like, how many times do we still get every day? Somebody says, what do you mean I got to eat 5 or 6 or maybe 7 smaller meals a day? I go, well, there aren't any hard rules, but if you're trying to build muscle, you might want to go with that theory. It might serve you. And then we're just here to fill the gaps. That's all the products are there for. They're called supplements. That's what they're called.
I think I refer to the paraxanthine as a caffeine alternative. It was just the most fitting description for me because it can kind of describe what it does. You know that it's similar or at least in the same
Yeah.
ballpark, and then you understand that it's not, like you said, something you would use with caffeine. It is indeed an alternative.
It comes from caffeine.
And it can replace it per se. So it's, I think the feeling on it's good. And it is, it kind of gives you the energy, but you don't, if you're too used to regular caffeine, you almost miss when it starts to come over you. You only just notice it when you're like, oh yeah, shit, I do feel a little bit more, like a lot more energy.
Yeah.
And that was kind of what I've noticed with the paraxanthine. There's not many of them products out there.
No, it's not a cheap ingredient because it's not a large it's not a huge production. But when you ingest caffeine, 85% of it turns into paraxanthine, and that's what it does. But still, I go back to the word focus, and I go, if you subscribe to any kind of lifting and bodybuilding and any kind of training, it's always about a progressive overload, whether you're bodybuilding or swimming or whatever. You have to progress, which means you have to test the muscle. You gotta make that muscle be a little nervous for the next workout by scaring the shit out of it. And to do that, you can't always just be whacked out on crack and just doing 30 reps on dumbbells on bicep day. That's not progressive overload to the degree it should be. You want to see progressive overload? Go look at like Hollingshead. Seven plate squat the other day on it. I'm like, okay, that's some overload by weight. Or when Dusty digs down, he's got the leg press all loaded up, and he's taking his time to get that 12th, 15th, sometimes 20th rep with a full load. You can't do that when you're whacked out on crack. It is always going to be mind over matter. It's always been mind over matter.
I think an advantage that it has is, I help a lot of people with contest prep, and managing fatigue is a huge part of contest prep. And a big part of fatigue is managing your sleep. And my experiences with being able to fall asleep and sleep disruption, and there's a lot of evidence. I mean, I think of all the people watching, Andrew Huberman's podcast about quality of sleep and all this stuff that we know now about this stuff. And, you simply take an extra hour every night to have difficulty falling asleep, and you add that up over the course of the month, and that's 30 hours of less sleep that you have had versus the person who can fall asleep well.
Yeah.
And my big love for that product is I think I fall asleep much better than I used to. I mean, I was never a bad sleeper, but I love how I can just go to bed whenever I want, even if I've trained like 4 hours before.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So anybody who buys a high stim pre-workout, call us. We'll give you the ZM8 Plus on the side.
What's the half-life on caffeine? It's like 6 hours, right?
All depends. Like some people it's up to 9 hours.
I've heard that. This was
anywhere between 2 and 9 hours.
Right. So if you've ingested 300 or 400 milligrams of caffeine, 6 hours later you still have 200 milligrams in your system?
Yeah, I don't remember what the average but the average person is on the higher end.
Someone told me this, and they said that it varies.
Well, Sean Wells has got all that data.
And someone told me how much it varies because, not that this is a great thing, but if I lie down and I'm flat, I will fall asleep no matter the time of day.
Right.
It just means you're chronically sleep deprived.
So but if I'm tired, if I'm tired and I sit up at night, I won't fall asleep.
Right.
As soon as I lie flat,
and
at night it takes me maybe a minute. I don't remember when I fall asleep.
Right.
Ever. And I just wake up and nothing really wakes me up. So I have really good sleep, but also I'll have an energy drink, or I can, let's say at 10:30, and I could go to sleep at I could lie down at 11:30 and I'll be out within 5 minutes. It doesn't affect me that much, and I guess my overall intake on caffeine isn't maybe 400 a day. It's usually around the pre-workout.
Right.
Hold on, you lying sack of shit. I just saw you drowned a couple of cans of 600 milligrams.
You saw me down one. So which means I've got 250 in the bank for a workout this afternoon.
Right.
See,
Did you no coffee this morning?
No coffee.
Oh, okay.
No, because I knew that I was going to work out later today.
Oh, okay.
So I knew, I was like, you got to skip this one.
Maybe that's my problem. Maybe after I've had the first 6 or 7 cups of coffee in the morning, maybe that's why.
You're already.
Maybe that's why 4:30 in the afternoon I'm dragging my ass.
And that's one of the things I see with people that I help with contest prep is if they just stop and take a long, hard look at their caffeine ingestion, they're at a gram a day. And it's well, that's part of the problem. They think that I can't sleep at night because my diet, and I'm like, well, you're at a gram of caffeine a day. If you're drinking 2 energy drinks and you're having some pre-workout and you're drinking coffee, and so it's a big part of it. So
I try and stay away from the 4 figures. I know, just on the worst
4-figure caffeine intake.
Yeah, that's what I refer to it as. I'm not going.
I haven't had a good day until I've had 4 figures.
Yeah.
I can't be the only person who describes a gram as that much. It's 4-figure caffeine. Anyway, so
you've been in some pretty sketchy places, I think, my friend.
Yeah, that's a lot of caffeine.
Strangely enough, though, sketchy places when I was in China, the limit on energy drinks were 100 milligrams.
Yeah.
I'm not saying China's sketchy. I'm just saying they only had Monster Ultra and Red Bull, nothing else.
Right.
And then I was in Indonesia and Thailand, none. I couldn't find a single energy drink that didn't have they had the classic Red Bull.
Yeah, the original syrup.
Yeah. So it was 40 grams of
awesome.
sugar to get 40 milligrams of caffeine. I was like, that's not an exchange that I'm worth having. It's,
right.
Yeah. But there are places where you just can't have that much caffeine. It's just,
no.
It's hard. Yeah. I think America is probably the place that's got the easiest allowance for caffeine, really.
I won't tell everybody what I'm aware of from regulatory and legal in the United States, but you're right.
Well, yeah, because here there's a limit on energy drinks. I believe it was 180. Yeah. Australia is
per serving, per can, or
per
what
can.
Is it? Per can.
Yeah, because Australia is. It's per
140?
mil. It's per mil.
I do have the regulations upstairs for Australia.
I think and half a liter is 140. I think.
And it's got a hard cap as well.
Yeah.
Per per vessel, if you will.
And then in pre-workouts, I thought it was 325, but that caffeine has to be 300. I think it was 325, but that has to be per. So if you had straight caffeine, that's not allowed at 325. It has to be a certain percentage of the overall serving size. So yeah, America's like the freest when it comes to.
Well, on the technical aspect
And
of
also
it.
no legal age to purchase.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's all changing. You go to New York City, they got a lot of the
Yeah.
caffeines behind the glass now.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, no, it's what is it? Muscle builders and fat burners.
Yeah, define
So long as
define
it's-
a muscle builder.
Yeah, that was the loosest thing. I get it. Like I understand what you're trying to do, but I was come up with some better terms, right? Have a list of ingredients that qualify, not like many things. Everything can fall into either of those theoretically.
Yeah.
Right. If you've just worked out, a cheeseburger can be a muscle builder.
Yeah.
And then it was in every fat burner, even essentially like a protein powder inherently builds muscle, but that's not included.
Yeah.
Anyway.
State by state, the United States
No,
has
I don't-
interesting laws.
I think. Oh, I thought you.
It's state by
I thought you
state?
said it was gonna go state to state.
Well, no, we'll see how all that goes, but
Yeah.
we don't have that kind of problem up here in Canada.
Not yet.
We just have meat wars between the provinces and wine wars between the provinces.
say-
Beyond that,
New York's given Canada some ideas now.
we don't want any
Don't
more
be
ideas.
surprised.
Yeah.
We don't want any more bad ideas. Health Canada, yeah.
I got a lot of people ask me about getting the product into Canada properly.
But the mindfuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Mindfuck onto the Canadian shelves. So where are we at right now?
Well, I'm ready to go.
Right, but we're waiting for Health Canada to approve the
Yes.
the main ingredient, right?
Yeah. Well, Health Canada.
How do you say it again? What is it?
Paraxanthin.
Paraxanthin. Yeah.
Infinity.
Yeah. Health Canada moves at the speed of slug.
Yeah.
Is
So-
it the paraxanthin that they need to approve?
Yeah, nobody's got any paraxanthin approved.
Ah, so the product. So do they have to wait to approve that ingredient, then they approve the product separately, or is it all
Yeah.
one process?
We've only all been ingesting caffeine for thousands of years. Caffeine, 85% of it turns into paraxanthin in our bodies. It's GRAS rated, which means generally recognized as safe. So it's GRAS rated in America, by the way. I'm like not so sure what the hang up here is. So if it's a little, if you think about the stimulatory effect of caffeine, because this is the 85% portion of what caffeine turns into, you don't get as high the stim because you're missing the other two things. So that's why you don't get all the hardcore stim. Okay, no problem. Well, in theory, doesn't that make this safer than caffeine even? So then what's the holdup?
Right.
Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. Don't get me going on my non-conspiracist conspiracy theories, but we all know what the holdup is and everything with dietary supplements. And it's paranoia wielded by some other industry.
They're just trying to keep it safe.
Trying to save you from yourself, Jim.
Yeah. First is 300 milligrams
there's
of
also this-
paraxanthin, then it's 600 milligrams of
Yeah,
paraxanthin. We
next
know
thing you
how it
know-
is. Then it's 4 figures.
Then there's kids just snorting paraxanthin.
Yeah. Keeping you safe, Jim.
It's
Don't get me going on about my grandparents fighting in
It's
the great
what I call
WW2. We didn't fight for our freedom and have it taken away by frickin' big pharma telling us how to live.
It's the Canadian syndrome of the stack of paper.
Yeah.
There's a stack of paper on a bureaucrat's desk, and in Canada it has to go to another bureaucrat's desk, and then another.
It's
and
called
then
cover
another,
your ass and
and then
let's build
another.
monuments to mediocrity.
And
Is that a Canadian thing? Or is
Eventually-
That's
that,
a worldwide
I was going to say, I
thing.
thought that's
a
an
problem.
everybody thing.
yeah,
It is.
I think we're really good at it here, though.
Yeah, we just like to eat and go lift and have fun.
You know.
Or can we just do that?
And
Can
safely-
we all just lift, eat, and go
And
have
safely
fun?
consume caffeine.
Well, maybe not these 4-figure amounts that some other people are into.
I feel like maybe that is just a me thing that I say for.
Does it make you swim faster?
I never had caffeine back when I used to swim.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't really a thing.
All right. Good to know.
Okay.
I mean, now that I know what I know, shit, it might have helped.
Right.
You never
It
know.
would have been handy.
So Shane, you've been around the block a lot with a lot of brands and whatnot. What do you think of the labels?
I think it's badass.
All right, cool.
I think it was because you didn't really have that many hardcore brands. Like they were diminishing, not necessarily like fading away, but the amount of new brands that were coming in, none of them were that hardcore approach.
No, and I mean you can't get it on camera, but you can feel that textural difference right there. It's just
the
like,
labels are cool.
like when people finally get them in their hand, they go, "Oh, that's kind of neat."
Yeah,
And-
the design, the feel, and I think it reflects the image, or even the vibe better than the previous one.
I think so too. Yeah, I mean the other ones are getting a little old, but we also had the opportunity to do certain things, and we did taste testing on all the products, and it's over 92% of the products didn't even need an upgrade on the taste.
I was gonna say you wouldn't want to change Mutant Mass, right?
No, to God no.
Yeah.
But like for
Especially the newer formula that
Yeah.
you guys did is awesome.
but the new hardcore BCA, which isn't out yet, but we upgraded the BCA, so we've made it a little stronger, kicked it up to a full 8-gram dose to get some more of the clinical data behind it. But the fruit punch was a little lacking in flavor on that one. So yeah, we had the opportunity, took it back in the garage, kicked it up a notch on the fruit punch. So anybody who liked the Mutant BCA fruit punch is even better now.
Are there going to be others? Because mine, fuck, is
We're going to convert you yet.
I'm just gonna
I'm a
keep.
tropical
what-
punch flavor.
We're just going to
Yeah,
come
no,
out with another new
Which
product
one is
just to
this?
mess with your head. That's going to
This
make you
is the
say
blue.
stuff you don't want to say.
So, because the Mindfuck is a very specialized pre-workout,
Extremely nootropic.
but like it's arguably one of the most specialized supplements you have in the Mutant family.
Yeah.
Very.
Like you don't have many that dive. Is that kind of a lead into the rest of what we might be seeing with the Reawakening?
Yeah, there's definitely a few new products on the horizon, and some of them are going to expand where they're so demonstrably extreme in one direction, and that's fine, and we're looking forward to that. But yeah, there's definitely in the pre-workout category is where you have more expansionary
Yeah.
areas. Like you and I have a running joke. Anybody who hates me will still watch your podcast.
No
I've
one
been on your.
hates you.
I
You
know.
don't need to say
a lot of- yeah. Anyways, the whole nitrogen and pump product debacle. If anybody goes
Yeah.
back to some of our previous podcasts we've done, I still haven't launched that damn formula.
But it's in this.
That's not even.
Wait, so this wasn't the one.
No, this isn't. This is not the pump of all pump products that we're working on.
So
This
it
is
is
good though.
This is phenomenal.
Yeah.
'Cause
Because this
the-
has 4 grams of L-citrulline. in
The
it.
other twist that you kind of did in this is you did include, I would say, more premium ingredients or like branded ingredients than you have in.
Oh, and we kicked open the barn door with some of the doses.
Yeah.
Up until that time, I hadn't seen too many other brands go in with a full gram of dual sources of choline. I hadn't seen anybody do the 6-gram combo of taurine and tyrosine. Like 3 grams of L-tyrosine for the nootropic, just alone. Like there was supplements years ago that were anchored at around 3 grams of L-tyrosine. And so here we've got the paraxanthin, you got the nitrosogen, you got the beta-alanine, the citrulline, but then you go on these massive 3-gram amounts of tyrosine and taurine, and then a gram combo of choline. I mean, there's a lot of mind fuckery going on
That's
here.
what I'm saying. So like the approach you took in this is
I think we just call it mind fuckery.
It would have worked too.
you got to
Yeah,
add
mine
2 many letters for that.
Too many letters,
Yeah.
yeah, okay.
Have an RY.
Nah.
We'll just put a Y. Mine fuck.
So you agree, we'll just keep calling it mind fuck.
I need to change back to freak. Yeah. Good point.
All right.
I mean, there's a person. So you would refer to someone as a freak. So it's a good fit. It's a good confusion. Mind freak.
I've walked into many restaurants and they can't remember Ron's name. They go, hey, look at that freak.
I'm
Yeah,
waiting,
you wouldn't say fuck, though, would you?
I'm waiting for like, I still think that there's potential for like the gamers to get on that product. Because I think that would be great for
Well,
gaming.
the only world champions can handle the strength of
I know.
stuff in here.
I still think that's an untapped
The
market.
one thing I've always
What the hell's in G Fuel?
see. This is the
Like
thing.
a thimbleful of caffeine
is-
and fruity tooty colors
This is the thing that
that are
I
going to get
always.
banned anyways.
I always thought
Somebody
was-
called Fruit Loops. G Fuel stole all your red 40.
what I thought was interesting about the gaming category. Like I could be miles off. This is just an assumption or a theory, but so like obviously back when G Fuel took off and became what it is today,
Yeah.
a lot of supplement companies were like, "Shit, I can do better than that. Shit, I can do better than that." So they all kind of threw their hats in the ring, and none of them really stuck as well as G Fuel. And
No.
the argument you made was, what's in G Fuel? And it's not really a drastic amount. One thing I noticed is that it's like a gamer isn't necessarily going to find, if it's like, oh man, these guys make protein and testosterone boosters, and they're like, how could they possibly know what the hell goes into it? Even though you do know. And I noticed that sports nutrition people were buying the gaming supplements from the sports nutrition companies. The gamers were not coming to the sports nutrition brands to buy their gaming supplement.
Yeah.
So it was a very interesting thing. I think you had to be an entirely
Of course.
gaming orientated brand, or you had to kind of refocus it around gamers to appeal to them.
Yeah.
Which is very similar, I think, to not like exclusively, but women's supplements. I don't think.
Whoa. We're going way off track here. Gamers?
I'm just saying that we've seen this in the industry, right? Like if you put a giant muscular man.
Dude, this is a hardcore bodybuilding brand. Why are we talking about gamers?
He brought it up.
It's interesting.
And he's right though, because
It's a mindfuck. That's
it's a killer. It's a killer product for gamers. But I think it has to, like, it's a hard audience to appeal to. You have to.
Oh, of course.
Have to disassociate yourself with sports.
No, and that's why G Fuel did such a great job, right?
Exactly.
They know their audience. Perfect. That's what every brand ought to do. Like, Ron did not open up a Pilates gym. Thank God. Had you opened up a Pilates gym, wouldn't have worked, I think.
But I think bodybuilders would have tried Pilates if he did.
But
Ron's
the thing,
popular, but I don't know.
The thing that you were saying, I want you to finish what you were saying about when brands do like a women's line, they take exactly the same product and they just put it in a pink label.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like it's
it's perceived.
But it's the gaming. It's the same situation.
No, but that's a supplement brand ran by a guy who does that.
Right. But a lot of times if it's just a protein powder, for example, it's technically like pretty much the same product, but they just relabel it so it's.
But that's because
differently.
there's that perception that I think if you make it look like what you think they like, they would buy it. But very similar to the gaming situation, they like it.
Yeah.
The brand representing them, the brand being about them, and the people who are actually making it are gamers. And I'm sure that like some women would appeal to some things. Not that it's like a direct example, but it's a close one. If you put a muscular dude on the front, like the Hulk on front of a protein powder, it's not likely to appeal to women. But then if you had something that was from a female ambassador, she came up with the flavors, she said, this is why I put collagen in this, and maybe that would immediately, because she's built it from the ground up.
Yeah.
Whereas I think sports brands traditionally just were like, I can make that. I'll put together the label.
We
Why?
can be a little arrogant at times.
Yeah, but and it makes sense because sports is so strongly based around the formulas, like you said. And you're like, I can do a better formula. That's all that you should care about. But that's a sports mentality, I think, a lot of the time, and it's a hard one to
That's
escape.
what hardcore athletes care about. Is the formulas.
Totally.
Yeah.
But then that doesn't carry across the gamers. They're like,
Well, there's a lot of other the other areas are coming from a gen pop point of view.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Okay, as long as people are showing up, working out, we don't give a shit where they come from.
Yeah.
hey, don't get me wrong, I love the sports side. It's where I started. It's where I think it's just.
I just know any gamer that uses this.
Oh yeah.
Holy hell! They're gonna have a great ride, and their buddies are gonna be a little jealous. And go, what the hell did you just do there?
They might get a thumb pump too.
Yeah. They might get a thumb cramp.
Might not need the citrulline. Yeah.
The forearm cramp.
Exactly.
There you go.
But the data is there. Like on some of the you've seen the data on nitroxygen, and there's a full shot of nitroxygen in here, and goes to work in 15 minutes, lasts for up to 5 hours, and that mental acuity. And then they came out with their other version of it, New Level. That's in the gaming products.
Oh, really?
So New Level is basically nitroxygen plus some extra inositol. Great ingredient too, but they kicked it up a notch. Great
I
data.
didn't know any of this. I'm learning. I love
Really?
this.
It's 1.6.
I thought everybody knows this. Knows this stuff.
1.5
never had this
nitroxygen,
conversation,
1.6 new level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we talked to Katie, who used to be at Nutrition 21, the science lady. Yeah. She's over at Kiwahako with
She's
the
cognizant,
aminos.
right?
Hey?
She's a cognizant. Oh, Kiwa,
Yeah, Kiwa, yeah. So you talk with Katie, and you get her going on all the studies they did on nitroxygen plus the extra inositol. It was the sweet spot. It's like more isn't always better. If I recall correctly, they tried 1,000 milligrams of added inositol on top of the 1,500 of nitroxygen, and that didn't work as well. So for them, it was the 1,500 nitroxygen plus the 100 of inositol, or added additional inositol. There's already inositol in
I think sports guys do all the hard yards for the rest of the world.
Friggin' rights we do.
Because, like, again, we dig into the focus on new level, and like, you dig into all the effects, and then it's like, oh, wow, this works for focus as well.
And nobody cares.
And then it winds up in this far-off distance category.
Well, that's what bodybuilders have done for decades.
Push the boundaries.
They were the ones, testing nutrition on themselves and testing ideas and carb cycling and protein intakes and all this stuff without any help from the scientific community at all for decades. They were doing studies on sedentary people, taking them and putting them in the gym and training them, and doing studies on maybe they would, and then there's a point in time where the studies got done, instead of doing them on sedentary people, they're doing them on college athletes who still aren't bodybuilders, right? And then maybe some of the evidence started to actually look a little more supportive of what the bodybuilders have been doing, because at least it's on an athlete. And now now a lot of the stuff has come full circle, and
there's a lot of stuff, bodybuilders have
a lot
been
of
doing
the things we've been doing for decades are now like fully supported.
Yeah.
And
or like when you talk with Dante.
Yeah.
When you and Dusty are talking with Dante, and we're working on other new formulas, and we're talking about health as well.
Yeah.
There's a lot of liver health concerns out there, and other concerns.
Blood pressure management and all sorts of stuff.
And so there's a lot of things we're always looking at. And some of the stuff we're finding out, a lot of it's been learned more by the athletes first, because the athletes are willing to be guinea pigs themselves.
I think bodybuilders specifically, I've always liked the mindset of the bodybuilder and the sports brand, not even just like competitive sports in general, but the bodybuilder mentality, because the goal is like, not that it sounds bad, but like if you wanted the biceps of a rock climber or whatever, you would try and replicate what he did. You wouldn't do what he did. You would try and find an easier way to get what he has. Yeah. Or if you wanted the lats, you were like, how do I achieve this with a certain amount of reps? Like the goal is to get the certain thing in the most efficient way possible.
Well, Rich Piana summed it up best. Whatever it takes.
Yeah. I had a coach a long time ago that used to always say that line: "Success leaves clues."
Yeah, totally.
Right. So he would say, okay, like when people ask, how do I get more quad sweep? If the bodybuilders want more quad sweep, he would say, well, if you've studied athletes for as long as I have, you'll notice that the athletes that have the best quad sweep are the Olympic lifters, the sprint cyclists, and the short track speed skaters. And what do they all have in common? They're all going ass to heel with their explosive leg drive. So, Olympic lifters are wearing those shoes with the heels on them.
And they're basically my pair's upstairs.
Right, and they're basically doing a super deep front squat all the time, right? And then the sprint cyclists who are doing the velo track,
practically in that position the whole time.
They're getting full knee flexion, maximum knee flexion. And then he would look at the athletes. His thing was, he said, look at the athletes that don't do full range power. He said the volleyball players, they don't jump from a full squat.
High jumpers as well.
They jump from a half squat. Yeah. And they don't have muscular legs. So he said that leaves a clue to me that one of the keys for getting quad sweep is maximum depth and fullest possible range of motion.
Interesting.
So then he tied that in with, his advice to bodybuilders. And now we've got all these studies now that show that, the outside quad gets overloaded the most when it's put into the deepest possible stretch and like all that sort of stuff, right?
Any bodybuilders of old
old school
come to mind?
Tom Platz, right?
Exactly.
Tom Platz squatting ass to heels all those years with a close stance and a quad dominant position, right? So I find that stuff all fascinating, and I think bodybuilders deserve a lot of credit.
Some of the bad advices we all see these days.
All the half rep leg pressers out there that don't have, you know what I mean?
Hey, you told me to stop doing that. I stopped.
Yeah, there you go.
You got the platform shoes for it.
I do. They're literally upstairs. I can't believe I used to fit in those things.
Yeah. So
what else you got there, big guy? It's your podcast.
I think the finishing question I think is are there any big announcements you can share? Allude to, hint at, tease. Because obviously the launch happened in March, so we are. Sorry, I have to count. 5 5 months out, 5 months gone for them. You got the new ones coming out with the next 3 products. You've got the Amino Gear, IsoSurge, and Creacon.
Yeah. The brand is finally getting its full of Reawakening, so we're almost at the end of the first 10 or 11 month phase of that. So all the incumbent products, Mutant Mass in the bag, Mutant Whey in the bag, dual chamber Mutant Whey, so everything should be done by the end of this year. So all of our distributors who have been very patient.
9 months to rebrand the whole line that's not easy.
That's not easy.
Like I said, we're running into new labels at the gym now. On the shelf we're almost all new labeled now.
And then you've got Ron, and obviously, and a lot of the athletes have been waiting for some other new formulas we've been wanting to do a long time. Some of them we've already alluded to. So
some of them you can share.
No, because I know I'm going to end up sounding like a dirty dirt bag.
I asked that knowing you're not going to say anything. So
no, because how many times have I talked about nitrogen and this pump product?
But you've got it in Mindfuck, so
it's
okay.
not. Yes, it's a nitrogen in there, but that itself isn't the crazy product.
The crazy product, can it be used with Mindfreak?
Nobody needs 3 grams of nitrogen from two different products.
Like, could it be?
Well, you could half scoop it.
I do need to beg everybody's indulgence. Normally, I do like to drop hints.
Oh, what about all in then?
I need to drop a hint, and I come back. Call me in 5 weeks when I can tell you what's going on. Like, seriously.
So there's a good chance.
Hold on. Pan in on Ron's face because he kind of knows. Maybe.
So we're going to have a great year.
Thanks for listening.
We're really looking forward to being a huge part of the Olympia this year.
Oh, it's launching at the Olympia.
And
good idea.
And 7?
We got 7 athletes.
Yeah, we got 7 athletes.
Oh, yes.
I got the list right here.
7 athletes competing at the Olympia.
Yeah, we were really excited. I got to read this list of names real quick. So we got James Berger, who's doing the wheelchair bodybuilding Olympia. Of course, we're very excited to support that division as maximally as we can. I always help hand out the awards for that, so it's fun for me. We got Tyler Johnson, Canadian bodybuilder, doing classic physique. He won 2 pro shows this year, back to back.
Yeah.
So he double qualified. Emily Azzarello, doing wellness. Her and her husband Aaron, he's a great guy. They're really good ambassadors for Mutant. They own a shop out in. Are they in Ontario?
I believe so.
Yeah, I can't remember. Anyways, they're great. So she's doing the Wellness Olympia. Kellen Wilson, who actually trains at my gym quite often, doing classic physique. He just won the Vancouver Pro.
He looked great.
Shredded to the bone, like unbelievable condition.
Wow.
I'm super happy that Lola Montez is back on the team. Lola was a Mutant a while ago, and then she was gone for a while, and now she's back. And we signed her right before she turned pro. I remember seeing her and thinking, this girl is going to go all the way. And we signed her, had her on the team for a while. She turned pro. She was awesome. Now she's back. She's going to the Olympia again. She's a very amazing figure competitor. Of course, Andrea Shaw, women's bodybuilding Olympia champion. She's four-time
right now, right?
Four-time Olympia. Going for 5.
Going for 5.
Yes. And then, of course, Sean Clarita, men's open 212 champion.
Two-time
212 champion. So I call him the
7.
Yeah. So I call him the 424 champion because 212 times 2.
Oh my Lord.
So
and he's been on a mission.
Yeah. I don't think anybody trains more serious, more hardcore, more progressive than Sean Clarita. You can't really train harder than that. There's guys that train as hard, but that's pretty much the top end of output for a bodybuilder. And very excited to see Clarita. He's going there to try to get his title back.
Yeah, backstage last year, because I was up there, and I was like, I had him first. And nothing against it.
Oh, it was a great battle.
Yeah, I mean, it was tight. It was a tight battle. You saw the way you and I had kind of the same idea, and like I was shocked when they called Sean out for second, but it was more his response backstage without divulging things that shouldn't be divulged. But him and Matt were there, and I left. That's not my scene. That's between athlete and coach, and they're planning. It's like, hey, I mean, it's done. Now now the next year the job begins, and you just knew how much this means to Sean.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You see,
It means it's
you
that
know,
much
like
to everybody, but
it's like a cliche thing to say, but it really, when you see a champion lose his title, how he responds is really what makes him the champion.
yeah.
And so, yeah, Sean Clarita is just a fantastic example of that. And we're all just really excited to see him bring his best once again. So it's going to be a great Olympia.
And
but I'm excited for it. He showed me some new hoodies. Those hoodies were awesome.
Ooh.
I'm not going to say anything about the hoodies.
Yeah,
but
there's
let's
some.
just say there's a
They're
new hoodie
shit.
coming. I can't wait.
We've got 2 or 3 major, cool, fun things happening at this year's Olympia.
Yeah, I'm excited.
That we've never seen anybody quite do.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So it's fun. If you don't got your tickets, come get your tickets.
I'm gonna be there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
I'm
know.
super excited for the Olympia this year.
Yeah,
It
we're
just
super
gets more
excited
and
for
more
all of
fun.
our big shows we go do, as everybody knows. But calendar-wise, next big one, Olympia.
Yeah.
Back home in Vegas. Let the planning and the partying begin.
Yeah, I'm happy to be back in Vegas too. So
Yeah.
let's do it.
And it never ends. So yeah, if you're good with letting us maybe come back on in like 5 or 6 weeks, we can unveil probably one pretty unique piece of big news. Maybe even 2.
Hopefully.
And I'm sorry, we just don't have everything done and
So the
dusted.
pump supplement is one of these.
No,
It'll pump you up what I tell you.
I'm getting a promotion.
I think I know the other. I think I know one of it. I think Ian told me a bit about one of it, which I won't say.
Yeah, you can't say, but
Oh no, wait, yes, he did.
yeah,
No, yeah,
you
that's
did,
the one you're talking about.
You did
He
get.
told me September.
Yeah, you did guess that. That one's nice. That one, I would give that one like a 7.
7?
A 7 out of 10 on the excitement level.
It depends on what your 10 is. That's what really matters.
Right.
I'm looking at Ron. Ron's looking at me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a good secret keeper.
Yeah.
That's why people keep me around. So
It might be a 7.2. You never know. No. We got a couple of cool. We got some fun to go do. But that hoodie that you're talking about, that'll be something that nobody's ever quite seen before.
The hoodie.
Yeah. We like to have fun here.
we're not talking about just.
We're
the-
hardcore,
we're excited
baby.
about a hoodie, but.
So one of those ones with like a little screen on it.
Yeah.
No.
No, there's they actually sell them in Vegas too.
It's got lights on it.
Yeah, you know.
I don't think we would ever do something that Dusty would not approve.
No.
I think he would approve of this. I don't know him that well, but I think he might.
I asked him about TikTok dances and pink tutus, and that conversation went
No, the
nowhere
whole
fast.
the moving screen on a sweatshirt is far above any of that.
No.
I can just see Dusty going, why?
Clearly, you haven't seen them before.
No.
They're pretty electric.
No.
No pun intended. But
I get more fun watching humans than fucking
you maybe
screen.
have seen them.
Our
I'm just
surprise
trying.
will be much better.
I'm just curious what makes this an industry first level hoodie. That's the.
Well, you'll see.
Yeah, you'll see. It's just
We'll give you a couple.
just something no one's done before.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Is it about the hoodie that's never been done before? Or is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can only do
Yeah,
so much.
there's
to a
only so
hoodie,
much
but
you can
this
do.
is
That's
something
why
we
I'm
never-
left confused.
Well, just
Don't be
think more
conf-
like.
Yeah, don't choose to be confused.
Yeah, no, don't.
Don't make this out.
Don't make it too big.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm
You'll
overhyping
love it. You'll love how it looks.
I'm overthinking it.
It's cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
See.
We're not reinventing the hoodie.
I was just curious.
No, we can't do
Got
that.
2 hoods.
It's good. That was like Back to the Future. The
Yeah,
second
yeah.
where he's wearing 2 ties or
It's
something.
a dual chamber hoodie.
Dual chamber hoodie.
Yeah, so not a dual chamber hoodie. Yeah, I don't have it here. Otherwise I could show it to you right now off screen, and you go, wow, that's kind of cool. But I don't quite have it here.
Something like it, yeah.
Okay. All good.
We'll have to find it and show it to you off camera here.
Well, thanks for having us on.
Yeah,
No, I
Shane,
appreciate it,
we had a
man.
great time.
This is fantastic.
Hopefully you
man.
did too.
I had a great. I mean, I always have a great time. But no, thank you for asking the questions. Thank you for sitting down and
Yeah.
in your own house, and this is great.
Hey, you're welcome here anytime you know that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right.
Cheers.
Thanks,
Shane.
brother.
Ready? Thanks for having me. You
Ron.
bet.
Bam.
Wait, I was unstacked.
We done?
We done? Don't forget, ring the bell.
Yeah.